the matter of a traveller shortening his prayer, then the people of knowledge point out that the traveller, he of course, and the proof being the hadith of Aisha radiallahu anha in Sahih Muslim, that the prayer was made obligatory as 2 rak'ahs, and then later on it was increased for the resident, for the muqim, and it remained as 2 rak'ahs for the traveller. So some of the people of knowledge have pointed out that not only is it a concession for the traveller that he is allowed to shorten his prayer and make it 2 rak'ahs for the 4 rak'ah prayers. Obviously the 3 rak'ah prayer of Maghrib remains as 3 rak'ahs. As for the 4 rak'ah prayers, Dhuhr and Asr and Isha, then some of the people of knowledge point out not only does the traveller have a concession to shorten his prayer, but indeed it becomes an obligation. Amongst them, as far as I recall correctly, then Imam al-Shawkani and others, that it's upon the traveller that he prays. If he's praying on his own, he prays 2 rak'ahs for those prayers and doesn't increase upon that. For as long as he's away from his hometown, for as long as he's away. And this was the view of Shaykh Muhammad ibn Salih al-Uthaymeen, rahimahullah, likewise, that a traveller, for as long as he's a traveller, as long as he doesn't become a resident, then he continues to shorten the prayer. Pray 2 rak'ahs. No. That being, as long as he's a traveller, when he's praying on his own. If he prays on his own, or if he happens to be leading some people, then he prays 2 rak'ahs. If, however, he prays behind an imam, then the people of knowledge point out, if he prays behind an imam, then he prays whatever the imam prays. If the imam prays 4 rak'ahs, he prays 4 rak'ahs. Even if he only catches a part of the prayer, even if he only catches 1 rak'ah himself, then he adds to it 3, because he prays the same as the imam prays. If he's behind the imam, he prays the same as the imam, as is indicated in the hadith of Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma, that some people said to Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma, why is it that the traveller, when he prays behind an imam, then he prays the same prayer as the imam? So Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma replied, that is the sunnah of Abu al-Qasim. That is the sunnah of Abu al-Qasim. So if you're a traveller, you go into the masjid and you just catch the last rak'ah, for example, it's Dhuhr prayer. You catch 1 rak'ah of what the imam has prayed. Of course, as a traveller, what's upon you is 2 rak'ahs. However, you're praying behind the imam, even if it's only for 1 rak'ah, you've caught him, then you've prayed the rak'ah along with him, you stand up and pray 3 more, because he had prayed 4. Wallahu a'lam. Until you, and as Shaykh Uthaymeen mentioned, and you do that until you return back to your hometown, for as long as you're a traveller. And that's supported by the practice of the Salaf radiallahu anhu. For example, Ibn Umar radiallahu anhuma, that he travelled to Azerbaijan, in the authentic narration that he travelled to Azerbaijan, and he was there, and then it snowed heavily, and it was an area where the mountains, and it snowed heavily, and the snow blocked the mountain paths, so the roads became blocked, and it was winter or whatever, the roads remained blocked for 6 months. So he was intending, as soon as the roads clear, I will travel. He ended up each day, he intended to travel, but the roads didn't become clear for 6 months. So he shortened his prayer for 6 months. So that's why some of the people of knowledge, such as Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah, and likewise Shaykh Ibn Uthaymeen, rahimahullah, they say for as long as you're a traveller, you shorten your prayer. As long as you don't take up residence in that place. Wallahu a'lam. And Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah makes the point that there are only 2 types of people in this regard. Either you're a resident, because sometimes people say, I'm doing so and so, I went to this place and I remained for a while, I'm not sure if I'm a traveller, I'm not sure I'm not a traveller. Then Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah and some of the people of knowledge mention this point to help to clarify the issue. The Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah makes the point you can only be one of 2 things. Either you're a resident, you're in your hometown where you live, and if you're not that, if you've travelled away, you're away from there, you're somewhere else, then you're a traveller. And for as long as you're away, you are a traveller. And of course the only exception being the person who has more than one home. You've got a home that's your home in one town, you've got another home in a different country or a different town, then wherever your home is, then that's your home. Beyond that, Allahu A'lam. Yeah, inshallah. Sajidun. There's another version of the hadith. The last hadith that we had, there's another version, whether it's the hadith of Anas radiallahu an, or whether it's a wording of the hadith of Anas, or whether it's a wording from another companion, it contains the wording sajidun. Yeah? So whether that's, Allahu A'lam, has it got it in that version there? Hey, no, there. It occurs either in another version of the hadith of Anas, or, as is more possibly the case, in a wording from a different companion. Allahu A'lam. The word sajidun as well, making prostration to our Lord. Allahu A'lam. In other words, آيبون تائبون عابدون ساجدون لربنا حامدون. Allahu A'lam. That's likewise authentic. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.